Canada has dropped to 18th place in the 2025 World Happiness Report, continuing its downward trend over the last decade. In 2015, Canada was ranked 5th, but it has gradually slipped lower, now reaching its lowest ever position. The report, published by the Wellbeing Research Centre at the University of Oxford, highlights that many Western industrial nations have seen similar declines in happiness. The United States has also fallen to its lowest ranking at 24th, while the UK is now in 23rd place. In contrast, Finland remains the happiest country in the world for the 8th consecutive year, followed by Denmark, Iceland, and Sweden, showing a strong trend of Nordic nations leading in well-being. The report evaluates happiness based on multiple factors, including economic conditions, social support, health, personal freedoms, generosity, and corruption perceptions. Canada performed well in GDP per capita, ranking 16th globally and 15th in perceptions of corruption. However, it ranked poorly in social support, 35th, and even worse in freedom to make life choices, where it stood at 68th. The decline in happiness is particularly evident among younger Canadians, who report a steady decrease in life satisfaction over the last decade. Many younger individuals feel that hard work does not necessarily lead to social mobility, and issues like housing affordability and economic uncertainty have contributed to their declining well-being. The report also highlights that happiness is not just an individual matter, but a structural issue. Researchers argue that the declining happiness levels in Canada indicate deeper systemic problems, such as economic instability, social isolation, and a lack of trust in institutions. Disadvantaged groups, including members of the 2S LGBTQ+ community, Indigenous populations, and people with low incomes, reported significantly lower life satisfaction. Mental health challenges are also a major factor, with Canadians experiencing poor mental health ranking among the least satisfied groups in the country. Experts suggest that investing in youth mental health programs could be a crucial step toward reversing this trend. One of the key findings of the report is the importance of social connections. Factors such as sharing meals with others and having reliable support systems significantly influence overall happiness. Canada ranked 53rd in the world for meal sharing, with an average of 8.4 shared meals per week. The US ranked even lower at 69th. The decline in social interactions, particularly among young people, has contributed to an overall drop in well-being. Studies show that simple human connections, like regularly eating with family or friends, can greatly improve happiness levels. Another surprising aspect of the report is the gap between people's perceptions of kindness in society and reality. Many individuals believe that others are less generous or trustworthy than they actually are. For example, in an experiment conducted in Toronto, participants expected that only 23% of lost wallets would be returned, but in reality, over 80% were given back to their rightful owners. This suggests that people may be overly pessimistic about the kindness and integrity of those around them, which could further contribute to feelings of social distrust and unhappiness. Despite the overall drop in happiness among Western nations, some unexpected countries have moved up in the rankings. Costa Rica and Mexico entered the top 10 for the first time, ranking 6th and 10th respectively. Israel, despite its ongoing conflict with Hamas, ranked 8th, demonstrating that national happiness levels are influenced by a variety of complex factors beyond just economic or political stability. Meanwhile, Afghanistan was once again ranked the unhappiest country in the world, with Afghan women reporting particularly low quality of life. Sierra Leone and Lebanon also ranked among the bottom 3 nations. The findings of the World Happiness Report emphasize that economic wealth alone does not determine happiness. Trust, social connection, and a sense of personal freedom play significant roles in shaping well-being. Researchers argue that governments should focus not just on economic growth, but also on fostering supportive communities, reducing inequality, and improving mental health services. The report suggests that policymakers should prioritize social policies that strengthen human relationships and create a sense of security and belonging, rather than just focusing on GDP growth. Ultimately, the decline in Canada's happiness ranking should serve as a wake-up call for leaders and policymakers. While Canada remains among the top 20 happiest countries in the world, the downward trend suggests underlying issues that need to be addressed. If the country continues to ignore social and economic challenges faced by younger generations and marginalized groups, it risks further declines in future happiness rankings. Investing in social infrastructure, community-building initiatives, and youth empowerment programs may be key to reversing this trend and restoring Canada's reputation as one of the happiest nations in the world. Another important aspect highlighted in the report is the impact of economic stress on overall well-being. While Canada remains a wealthy country, rising costs of living, housing crises, and job insecurity have created significant stress for many citizens. Younger Canadians in particular are struggling with affordability issues, making it difficult to achieve financial stability or home ownership. The sense of economic uncertainty contributes to declining life satisfaction as people feel trapped in cycles of high expenses and limited opportunities. Addressing these economic barriers could be crucial to improving happiness levels across the country. The role of mental health in happiness cannot be overlooked. The report shows a strong correlation between well-being and access to mental health support, with countries that invest in mental health care ranking higher in overall happiness. In Canada, rising rates of anxiety and depression, particularly among younger populations, have contributed to the downward trend in happiness rankings. Limited access to affordable therapy and long wait times for mental health services further exacerbate the problem. Investing in accessible community-based mental health initiatives could be a key factor in reversing this decline. Looking ahead, Canada has the potential to regain its position among the world's happiest countries if policymakers take meaningful action. Strengthening social support networks, improving housing affordability, and prioritizing mental health care could all contribute to greater national well-being. Additionally, fostering a culture of kindness, trust, and social connection could help counteract feelings of isolation and pessimism. While the current trends indicate challenges, there is hope that with the right interventions, Canada can once again be recognized as one of the world's most fulfilling places to live.